Ladies and gentlemen, you're probably wondering what I'm doing up here. Well, today we're going to be checking out the practice skill combos because as good as they are, the devs made a few mistakes that I want to point out with the worst skill combos in the game. Now, I am criticizing this content, but at the same time, we're going to start off with Magneto. I do want to highlight that this kind of content is really good, and you can access it through the skill preview, and you can just go up there and click practice combo. And it is really good. This type of content is really good because it helps to alleviate how complex this game is. And the complexity of MFF is actually a topic for another video, where I think that the game is so complicated that it deters new players from sticking around, which is something I think the devs are constantly working on with upgrades to things like Shield Academy, this practice combo thing, etc. You know, extended login events to get players playing for 90 days so the content can really sink into their brains. But I still think they need to do a lot more to onboard players and to also lower the complexity of the game just a tad. But for today, we're going to be criticizing what is actually a really good piece of information for players. It's not really content, but it's close. So first up, we have Magneto. This is not the worst on the list, not the worst offender, but this is still a bad skill rotation for a few different reasons. If we take a look at the one that includes the tier 3, they have you go 6, 3, 4, 5, and you finish on the 5. Now, there's a couple of things wrong with this rotation. We'll check out the last one here where it's 7, 6, 3, 4, 5. The main issue with this rotation, there's two big issues. The first one is that you're not including the 1 and the 2 at all. Now, this is actually done on almost every character skill rotation, so this isn't going to be a big criticism of mine, but I do want to point it out for Magneto because he has such a spammable rotation, right? You can actually do a rotation. Even if you kept to their rotation, all you would do is add in the 2, and you get extra hits for free. So it really doesn't make sense. Then you can just use 1 at the end for a little bit of escape to get your joystick back. However, the bigger problem with Magneto's rotation in the combo guide is that if you take a look here, 3 has no buffs. 4 has no buffs. It just has an invincibility. And then 5 has the most important buff for Magneto, the 1.5% accumulation. That is a crazy good buff. Also, if you take a look at the skills cooldowns, we have 13 seconds, 15 seconds, and 20 seconds. 20 seconds is a massive jump, right? This skill, Magnetic Amplification, has a 10-second cooldown that matches the 10 seconds of the accumulation. This one has a 6.5-second cooldown. So you can almost spam Winter Judgment 2 times for every 1 time you spam Magnetic Amplification. Additionally, because it has accumulation and it accumulates the damage you're dealing as a buff, why wouldn't you start with 5? So this is where the rotation just completely falls apart. Starting with 3 and then 4 and then 5, sure, there's not a lot of hits. There's like maybe 5 or 6 hits. But those 5 or 6 hits could be accumulating and contributing to your accumulation buff. But they're not, because you told the players to do 3, 4, 5. That's the first mistake. The second mistake is by not starting with 5, it's going to take you about a second to press 3, 4, and then 5, right? It's going to take you about a second. That's a second longer that you have to wait to press 5 again. And this can be especially important for things like ABX when you're using the 5th skill to cancel. So actually, the best rotation for Magneto, even if you're just going to ignore the 2nd and 1st skills and just use 3, 4, and 5, it's actually the reverse. It's 5, 4, 3. And you wait for the bubble to show up on 5 before you cancel. You actually get more hits. You can see there are 100 hits, right? Their rotation is it 100 hits? Spoiler alert, I don't think it is 100 hits. So, okay, yeah, sorry, it is 100 hits, my bad. But yeah, you get the same number of hits, and you actually, you prioritize the cooldown of the 5th skill, which is really important, and you have the accumulation up and running. So in reality, the best rotation for Magneto is something along the lines of 2 cancel 5, cancel 4, cancel 3, and then using 1 tactically when you need to move around or interrupt, or just using it at the end before 2 or 3 is off cooldown. After that, it becomes a spam fest, don't get me wrong. So this critique of Magneto is really only on like the 1st skill, but I did want to point it out because it is important to identify when you're building a rotation. Sometimes you do want to start with the skill that buffs you first. Now, moving on to Wolverine. Wolverine's actually the next one, and you can see here he has quite a lot of buffs on his 3rd skill. Especially important is the increases basic damage by 80% for 2 attacks. That's a very nice buff. However, if you take a look at his rotation and the way that it's practiced, and Wolverine, not as exciting from a PvE point of view as Magneto, no tier 4, old 2021 uniform, etc. But what they want you to do is they want you to press 3 and then 4, and then that's your first proc, right? That's there, and then 5, and that's your second proc. Now, that's nice. That's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty good. However, you're missing all of the dot damage, the damage over time from the second skill. Look at this, right? This skill has a bunch of hits. Look at this, 19 hits. And as soon as he lands, you can cancel. You can see there, I canceled into the first skill, and the dot damage is still going. So actually, this is a much shorter critique. So actually, even though the dot damage ends up taking the buff from the third skill, I think you actually want to do 2, cancel 3, cancel 4, and then 5. It doesn't actually calculate the extra hits from 2. So those 80, 90, 94 hits should actually be 114 hits. That's a pretty big difference to get an extra 20 hits. But as you can see here, once I press the fourth skill, it resets the counter, and it doesn't add any of those extra skills. I actually reset it twice by not canceling it to 5 fast enough. But you sort of get what I'm saying. Not going to go into as much detail with Wolverine as I did with Magneto. But here's sort of the opposite example where even though you want to prioritize some of these buffs, generally speaking, you also want to prioritize the number of hits, and you want to take advantage of things like chain hit damage, etc., etc. The next one we're going to do might be the worst. This might be the craziest skill combo I've ever seen. And by craziest, I mean worst. Are you guys ready for Luna Snow? Look at this practice combo. Bro, when I saw this shit, I was losing my mind. It's a 2-hit combo. It's a 2-skill combo. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This may be by far the most misleading skill combo in the game. This is so bad. And if players play Luna like this, she's not very good right now, but they will think that she's absolutely dog shit. They will think that she's horrible if they play her like this right now. There are so many more things you can do with this skill rotation. Don't get me wrong, you probably want to open with 4, cancel 5, right? You probably, but then you can cancel that into 1, slam that into 3, go over into 2. 2 does the most damage, right? I think, anyway. 2 or 5 does the most damage. This is crazy. And then even if you go to her tier 3 combo, it's like 6, okay, spin, nice. And then they put in 3, and then they put in 4 and 5, but still no 1 or 2. 1 and 2 do a lot of damage, dude, and they're so easy to cancel, right? You can cancel 1 as soon as she flips up into the air, and you get all those hits for free. Look at this. You're leaving a 30-hit combo, that's super easy to weave in. You're leaving that on the table, right? It's super easy to weave this combo in. As soon as she lands, you weave that combo in, and it's a free 30-piece. Free 30-piece, bro. That's just crazy to me. It's actually so crazy. I think I know why they're doing it. It's because this one has all the debuffs on the enemy, and then the 5th skill has all the things that protect her, right? And it also has the 10% increased attack. These other skills don't have any damage, right? Just like kind of like Magneto's 1 and 2. They don't have any buffs. They're just damage skills. But man, bro, that's not good enough. That's not really a good enough answer. You guys had to code this. Like, I'm pretty sure humans had to code these things. Get it right, guys. Go in and fix it. Okay, if Luna wasn't bad enough, are you guys ready for this one? This one might be the worst. This one might actually be worse than Luna. Check this out. Ghost Rider. This is crazy, bro. Their skill rotation suggestion for Ghost Rider is 5 and then 4, and that's it. 5. Oh, wait. And you don't even wait for him to... Oh, my God. This is so bad. You don't even wait. Oh, yeah, you do wait. You do wait. You do wait. Okay, yeah, you wait for him. Wait, why does it keep failing me? 5. And then he spits the ball, and then 4. Now, this is correct. This is correct, that you need to wait for him to spit the ball on 5. But there's so much missing from this. There's so much missing from this. And if you're like, okay, it's on the tier 3. It's not on the tier 3, bro. The tier 3 is just 5, and then 6, and then 4. And actually, you can cancel the 6 way sooner. So the craziest thing about this rotation is it doesn't include the King's Gaze. This is by far his best skill. So remember how I said for Magneto and Luna and Wolverine that maybe they're not using the other skills, the 1 and the 2 and maybe the 3, because they don't have any buffs? Look at these buffs and debuffs, right? Burn damage, all defense down, removes active buff, and then for the buffs that he has, right, it gives him the penetration, it gives him the invincibility, and it gives him a 250% proc. 250! That's higher than a brilliant CTP, bro. Where is this in the rotation? It's nowhere. It's god-awful, bro. This should be the rotation. This is the one that I use anyways for Ghost Rider. 5 into 4, okay? And you wait for him to throw the bike, then you do 2, then you do 1, and then the next rotation pops, and you do 3, and you let him spit, and then you do 2 and 1 again. The reason why I break it up is because he has invincibility on 5, and he has invincibility on 3, but he has no healing on any skills. So in order to not get hit, as long as you're not getting hit by purple attacks that penetrate your invincibility, this is the way to avoid the most amount of damage. However, if you want to deal the most amount of damage, your best combo is probably 5, wait till he spits, and then 3. And that's a crazy combo. But then the next rotation is kind of weak because you do 2, 1, cancel 4 probably. Because 5 and 3 both have really long rotations. So you probably, your next proc is kind of going to be kind of significantly worse. So his damage kind of goes like that. But yeah, that Ghost Rider one is absolutely nuts. I want to wrap up the video by showing you guys Loki here. This one is not nearly as bad as Luna or Ghost Rider. But what I want to highlight here is his third skill has a heal. Sure, whatever. But if we take a look here for Loki on the practice, and Loki's been played to death, right? This is why I wanted to highlight Loki, because he's been played to death by players in ABX for like 2 years now. So I think the devs should know how to play him. So their rotation for Loki is 3 with a super long delay into 5 into 4. Now the 5 into 4 is correct. It should be very quick. But the massive delay on 3 is just completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Your rotation should be very snappy. Very snappy. You're going to get the same number of hits. You're going to be able to stack all the damage. It makes him proc friendly. It means that you can play him with an energy if you want, or a mighty or a brilliant CTP of destruction if you please, right? There's lots of different options for him then. With this massive delay, you can only play him with a rage. And then to make matters worse, they don't include the second skill or the first skill, which you absolutely can do because you do 3, 5, 4. As soon as he's finished his last slash, and you'll see because the camera shifts, you do 2, and then when he pops up, you do 1. And this way you get an extra like 30, 40 hits for free. Again, they're leaving a 30, 40 piece combo on the table, and they're still hungry. Not to mention how badly they botch the tier 3 skill. So the tier 3 skill, they have it land and then do 5 and 4. This one blows my mind because it's like, guys, you told us to do the third skill, and like you emphasized the third skill with the last rotation, being like, don't cancel it right away, wait, right? Let all those Lokis cook, right? But then for this one, you're like, nah, screw the third skill. I'm not even gonna press it this time. I mean, that's lunacy, right? The other issue with his tier 3 skill is that it lingers for too long, as you can see here. It's a really cool skill, don't get me wrong. But because it lingers for so long, it's going to interrupt and trigger his next rotation way early, and it's going to ruin your damage for the next like 7 seconds. So the damage that it does in the first 7 seconds is not worth it ruining your next 7 seconds, right? Because even if it did like as much damage as your entire rotation, it still wouldn't be enough anyways. So realistically, what you want to do with the tier 3 when it's up is you want to do 3, 6, 5, 4. And you want to just cancel everything into 4. And then 2, and then 1. And that's honestly the best way to play Loki. You guys probably knew that already. That one's been played to death. But yeah, I wanted to highlight these worst skill rotations. There are definitely more out there, but I'll save those for another video. If you enjoyed this content, hit me up. And if you have any offenders, if you have any ones that you think are really bad, hit me up down below in the comments. Also, if you think I should do a best rotation video, which is basically the opposite of this one, let me know what you'd like to see in that one. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.